It was a quiet morning on the farm. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink. Birds chirped on the fence, and the wind moved gently across the fields. The animals stirred awake one by one. But in the stable, something unusual was happening. The mare, a strong and healthy horse, was expected to give birth any day. Yet something about her behavior felt strange. She paced back and forth inside her stall, her hooves tapping nervously against the wooden floor. Normally, a horse close to giving birth would show signs of preparation. She would lie down, shift her weight, or show the natural rhythm of labor. But this mare refused. She avoided lying down, snorted loudly, and tossed her head as if resisting something unseen. Her owners watched with worry, whispering among themselves. They had raised horses for years, but they had never seen behavior like this. At first, they thought it was simply nerves. Maybe the mare was anxious. Maybe she was tired. But as hours passed, their concern grew. She had refused to eat her hay. Her water remained untouched, and her restlessness only increased. Every few minutes she would stop, paw at the ground as if preparing to lie down, then quickly stand again, refusing to settle. The family gathered around the stall. Their children peeked through the wooden bars, their faces filled with both excitement and worry. They had been waiting for this foal for months, counting down the days, dreaming of the moment they would welcome a new life into the world. Now, those dreams seemed clouded with fear. What if something was wrong? What if the mare was in danger? The father paced outside, pulling out his phone. Debating whether to call the vet, he hesitated, hoping that nature would take its course. Horses had been giving birth for centuries without help, after all, but something in his gut told him this was not normal. This was not a delay, was a refusal. The mare was not ready, or perhaps she was unable. Inside the stall, the mare snorted again, her eyes wide and restless. She kicked gently at the straw, circled once more, and then froze. Her body tensed, her breathing heavy. The mother of the family stepped closer, her hand resting on the mare's neck, whispering soft words of comfort. "It's all right, girl, we're here," she said gently. But even her soothing voice did not calm the animal. The mare's ears flicked back and forth. Her tail swished and her muscles tightened. The hours stretched on, and the family grew increasingly uneasy. Horses were strong animals, but they were also fragile during birth. Complications could appear suddenly, turning a natural process into a life-threatening emergency. The family exchanged nervous glances, realizing they could no longer wait. The father finally dialed the vet, his voice tight with urgency. "She's refusing to give birth," he explained. Something isn't right. By the time the vet was on his way, the tension in the stable had grown unbearable. The children sat quietly outside, their earlier excitement gone. Their mother whispered prayers under her breath, her hand never leaving the mare's mane. The horse shifted again, her chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. Her large brown eyes reflected both fear and defiance, as if she knew something was different about this birth, something that even her owners could not understand. The minutes felt like hours. Every sound echoed louder than usual, the creak of the wooden beams, the rustle of straw under her hooves, the distant cry of birds. The mare's strange behavior filled the air with suspense. The family could do nothing but wait, hoping that help would arrive in time. The father checked the gate repeatedly, scanning the road for signs of the vet's truck. His heart pounded with worry. He had seen mares give birth before, but never like this. This was not hesitation, it was resistance, as if the mare was protecting something, holding back for a reason only she knew. Meanwhile, inside the stall, the mare paused suddenly. She stood still, her ears pricked forward, her nostrils flaring. The family held their breath, thinking perhaps this was the moment she would finally give in, but just as quickly, She shook her head and stepped back, refusing again. Her defiance sent chills through everyone watching. The mother stroked the mare's neck again, whispering, "Why won't you let go, girl? What are you waiting for?" Her voice cracked with emotion. She wanted to believe it was just a delay. But deep down, she too sensed something unusual. Something hidden. The weight grew heavier. The family clung to hope, their eyes fixed on the stable door. Waiting for the vet to arrive, each passing minute felt like a story being written, a mystery unfolding in front of their eyes. This was no ordinary delay, no ordinary birth. It was the beginning of something far more incredible, something that would soon shock them all. The sound of tires crunching against the gravel road finally broke the silence of the farm. The family rushed outside as the veterinarian's truck pulled in. His arrival brought a wave of relief, yet the fear in their hearts did not fade. They knew this was not a normal situation, and they prayed the vet would bring answers. The vet stepped out of his truck. Carrying his medical bag in one hand, he was a tall man, weathered by years of long nights and emergencies. His calm eyes studied the worried family before he even reached the stable. "Tell me everything," he said in a steady voice. The father quickly explained, describing the mare's refusal to give birth, her restlessness, and her unusual behavior. The vet nodded slowly, listening carefully, inside the stable. The mare shifted nervously, as if she could sense the change. Her ears flicked back, her nostrils flared, and her tail swished impatiently. The vet moved slowly, speaking softly, "Easy, girl. It's all right." His calm tone seemed to settle the air, though the tension remained heavy. He placed his hand gently on her side, feeling the strength of her body. Her heart was strong, her breathing steady. But something about her posture was wrong. She was resisting, holding back. And he could feel it. The family gathered around. Watching his every move, the children clung to their mother's skirt. Wide-eyed with both fear and curiosity, they had never seen their mare act this way. And now the vet's serious expression made their worry grow. He reached for his equipment, preparing to do a closer examination. At first, he checked the usual signs. He measured her heartbeat, examined her breathing, and checked her temperature. All of it seemed normal, but still, the mare refused to lie down. Refused to push, refused to deliver. The vet frowned, muttering quietly to himself. "This is not normal." He turned to the family. "She's not in distress, but she's fighting something. Something inside is different." The mother stepped forward, her voice trembling. "What do you mean, different?" The vet didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached for his ultrasound machine. "We need to see what's going on inside," he said firmly. He set the device on a small table, plugged it in, and prepared the scanner. The soft hum of the machine filled the stable, a sound that made the family hold their breath. The mare shifted again, stamping her hooves as the vet approached with the probe. He stroked her gently, whispering reassurance, and slowly began the procedure. The screen flickered to life, glowing in the dim light of the stable. At first, the image was blurred, just shadows and shapes. The vet adjusted the scanner, leaning closer. His eyes narrowed as the picture became clearer. The family stood behind him, craning their necks to see. Their hearts pounded as they waited for his reaction. Seconds felt like hours. The vet's face grew tense. His lips pressed tightly together. He moved the scanner again, tilting his head as if to confirm what he was seeing. The mare snorted loudly, shaking her head, as if she too knew that the truth was about to be revealed. The vet took a step back, looked at the screen again, and then froze. His eyes widened, his hand trembling slightly as he held the probe in place. The father whispered, "What is it, doctor?" "What do you see?" The vet didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and instantly began to take pictures of the screen. The family gasped, never having seen him act this way before. For a vet who had spent decades in the field, to see him react with such urgency meant only one thing: this was no ordinary case. The children clutched each other tightly, their young minds filled with questions they could not put into words. The mother's voice shook. "Please, tell us what's wrong with her." But the vet remained silent, his eyes still locked on the glowing image. His face carried both shock and disbelief. The stable seemed colder now. The flickering light of the ultrasound screen cast shadows on the wooden walls. The mare stood still, her sides rising and falling as if waiting for someone to explain what even she already sensed. The vet finally lowered his phone, staring at the screen one last time before shutting off the machine. He turned slowly toward the family, his voice heavy. "What I've just seen. You would not believe it if I told you." His words sent a chill through the air. The family stood, frozen, their breaths caught in their throats. The vet's eyes moved back to the mare, then to the family, as though weighing whether they were ready to hear the truth. The father whispered again, desperate, "Doctor, please." "What is it?" But the vet shook his head slowly. "Not yet," he said. "I need to be certain before I tell you." His voice carried the weight of something extraordinary. Something rare, something that had the power to change everything they thought they knew. The stable had grown so quiet that even the sound of the mare's breathing seemed loud. The family stood frozen, their eyes glued to the glowing screen. The vet kept moving the probe gently across the mare's side. His eyes locked on the shifting images. Each second that passed only deepened the tension. The silence was unbearable. The screen flickered again, showing shapes that were unclear at first. The father squinted, trying to make sense of it. The mother leaned forward, her hand pressed against her chest as if steadying her heart. The children stood behind them, too scared to speak. All they could see were dark shadows and blurry outlines. But the vet's expression told them that what he saw was far from ordinary. He leaned in closer, his face pale, his lips parted as though he wanted to speak. But no words came. Instead, he reached once more for his phone, snapping picture after picture of the screen. His hands moved quickly, his breath uneven. For a man known for calmness, his reaction was startling. The mare snorted, stamping her hoof on the ground. Her large eyes flickered toward the family, then toward the vet, as if she too knew the secret her body carried. Her muscles twitched beneath her skin, her tail swished nervously. But she did not resist the examination. It was almost as though she understood the importance of what was being revealed. The father finally broke the silence, his voice hoarse. "Doctor, what is it? What are you seeing?" The vet glanced at him briefly, but returned his gaze to the screen. His voice was low, almost a whisper. This is something I've never seen before." The family exchanged anxious glances. The mother stepped forward, her eyes wide with fear. "Is the foal in danger?" she asked. Her voice trembling. The vet hesitated, then shook his head slowly. "Not danger. At least not yet, but this is not a normal pregnancy." His words sent a chill through the air. On the screen, the shadows began to take clearer shape. The vet adjusted the probe again, and suddenly, the image sharpened. The outline of a foal appeared. But there was something unusual about it. The family gasped as they caught their first glimpse of the unborn creature. The head was visible, the small legs curled. But next to it, something unexpected glimmered. The vet's eyes widened further. He pointed at the screen, his finger trembling. "Do you see that?" he whispered. The family leaned closer, straining their eyes at first. It looked like nothing more than a faint blur. But as the image shifted, it became clear. The mare was not carrying one foal. She was carrying two twins. The family gasped in shock. Horses rarely gave birth to twins, and when they did, it almost always led to complications. The father staggered back. His hand pressed against his mouth. The mother's knees nearly gave way as she clutched the stall door. The children whispered loudly, to babies. Too. Their voices carried both excitement and fear, but the vet was not finished. He shook his head quickly. Not just twins, he said. His voice filled with disbelief. He moved the scanner again, showing a clearer image. The foals shifted slightly inside the womb, their tiny shapes overlapping. It was a sight so rare that the vet himself struggled to believe it. He whispered again, "This is almost impossible." The family stared at the screen. Their hearts pounded as the truth sank in. Their mare had refused to give birth because her body was carrying not one life. Not even the rare chance of two, but something far beyond their imagination. The vet captured more images, each one confirming what he could hardly explain. The mare stood still, as if listening to every word. Her breathing was steady, her body tense. The family now understood her refusal. She was not resisting out of fear or weakness. She was holding back because her body carried a burden unlike any other. The vet finally turned to the family, his eyes heavy with the weight of what he had seen. "I need you to understand," he said slowly. "What is happening here is extraordinary. I've practiced for decades and I've read about rare cases, but I've never witnessed this in my life. Your mare is carrying something that could change everything we know." The father swallowed hard, his voice shaking. "Can they survive?" he asked. The vet looked back at the screen, his jaw tightening. "It will be dangerous," he admitted, "but there is a chance. Nature has brought us here for a reason. We must do everything we can." The family fell silent. Their hearts were torn between fear and wonder. They had expected a single foal, a normal birth, a moment of joy. Instead, they were now standing on the edge of a miracle and a mystery. Something that would test not only the mare, but also their faith. The ultrasound machine hummed softly, its glow casting eerie shadows across the stable walls. The mare lowered her head, breathing slowly. Her body carried secrets that had stunned even the most experienced vet, and as the family stared at the screen, they realized this was not just about birth feet, it was about witnessing the impossible. The stable was filled with heavy silence after the vet revealed the truth. The family stood frozen, their hearts racing. Their mare was carrying not one foal, but twins. A miracle so rare that it carried both hope and danger. The vet's face was serious, his hands steady as he explained. "This is a gift, but it is also a risk. We must prepare." The children clung to their mother, whispering questions she could not answer. The father pressed his hands against his face, struggling to believe what he had just seen. Horses almost never gave birth to healthy twins, and yet here they were. Staring at an ultrasound that proved the impossible, the mare shifted on her hooves, lowering her head as though she understood the weight of the moment. Her breathing was slow, her muscles tense. She had resisted giving birth not out of stubbornness, but because nature itself had asked her to hold on to protect the fragile lives inside her. The vet quickly began preparing for what came next. He unpacked his tools, checked his supplies, and gave instructions to the family. "We will need quiet, patience, and faith," he said firmly. His calmness gave them strength, but the fear in their hearts did not fade. They knew this was a battle between life and loss. Between miracle and tragedy, hours passed as they waited. The stable flickered with lantern light, shadows dancing against the wooden walls. Outside, the night had fallen and the sound of crickets filled the air. Inside, every breath, every sound, every movement felt magnified. The family never left the mare's side, whispering prayers, hoping against hope that the outcome would be one of life. The mare groaned softly, shifting again. The vet moved closer, guiding her gently, his hands steady, his eyes sharp. He knew that every decision in the next moments would matter. "Easy, girl," he whispered. "We will help you through this." His voice was calm. But his mind raced. He had read about such cases. But to live through one was beyond imagination. The first foal began to emerge. The family gasped, their hearts pounding as the tiny shape pushed into the world. The mare strained, her body trembling. The vet guided carefully, ensuring nothing went wrong. After what felt like an eternity, the first foal slipped free. Small, fragile, but alive, its tiny cries filled the stable, breaking the tension with sounds so pure it brought tears to everyone's eyes. The children cried out with joy. Their mother covered her mouth. Sobbing softly, the father whispered, "Thank God." But the vet raised his hand. "It is not over yet," he said gravely. "There is another." His words turned their joy into silence once more. Their hearts raced again. The danger was not yet behind them. The mare, exhausted, lowered her head. Her body shuddered. The vet encouraged her gently, stroking her neck. "You are strong," he whispered. "You can do this." Minutes dragged into long, heavy moments. The second foal remained still inside, refusing to come as easily as the first. The family held their breath. Fear creeping into their eyes, the mother prayed aloud, her voice trembling. "Please, let them both live." The vet worked quickly, guiding, supporting, urging the mare to push. Sweat glistened on his forehead. His hands moved with precision, his heart pounding. Finally, after endless suspense, the second foal slipped free. For a brief moment, there was silence. It did not cry, it did not move. The family gasped, terror striking their hearts. The vet worked frantically, rubbing, clearing, breathing life into the tiny creature. The seconds felt like hours, until finally, a faint cry broke the silence. The second foal was alive. The stable erupted in tears and laughter. The family fell to their knees in gratitude. The children shouted with joy, and the mare lifted her head, nuzzling both foals gently as if to claim them as her own. It was a sight so rare, so miraculous, that even the vet wiped a tear from his eyes. He turned to the family and said softly, "You are witnessing history. This does not happen. And yet, it has happened here, tonight, in this stable." His words carried the weight of truth. This was more than a birth. It was a story of survival, of nature's mystery, of life defying the odds. The foals, weak but breathing, nestled against their mother. The mare stood proudly now, her exhaustion replaced by quiet strength. She had carried them, protected them, and brought them into the world. She had done the impossible. The family hugged one another tightly. Their fear had turned into joy, their sorrow into celebration. This was a moment they would never forget, a story they would tell for generations. The horse who refused to give birth had not been stubborn or afraid. She had been carrying a miracle,